All right, let's talk about something most of us would rather not think about: nuclear preparedness. But stick with me, because the goal here isn't to scare you. Not at all. It's to give you a clear, totally manageable plan that can turn that feeling of anxiety into a feeling of control. Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we need to really understand what we're up against. Then, we'll cover 3 simple core principles for safety. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty: your immediate action plan, how to build a safe haven, what you need in your survival kit, and, just as important, how to survive the aftermath. So, first things first, we've got to clear up a huge misconception. You see, to prepare the right way, you have to know what the real danger is. And you know what? It's probably not what you think. Which brings us to the biggest question of all, the one that's on everyone's mind. Is something like this even survivable? I mean, really? The answer to this changes everything, and it might just surprise you. For millions and millions of people who are outside of that immediate blast area, the answer is a resounding yes. Absolutely. Survival isn't just a slim possibility, it's actually probable. And that's because the widespread threat, the one you really need a plan for, isn't the explosion itself. It's what comes next. And here's the key distinction you have to understand. You've got the blast zone, incredibly destructive for sure, but also limited in size. But then you have the fallout zone. This is a much, much larger area that gets covered in radioactive particles. And that is the threat you can absolutely prepare for. The easiest way to picture fallout is to think of it like a dangerous, invisible dust or sand. So your entire preparedness plan, everything we're going to talk about, it all boils down to 2 simple goals. Keep that dust from getting on you or in you, and shield yourself from the energy, the radiation that it's giving off. Okay, so now we know the enemy is the fallout. So how do we fight it? Well, it all comes down to 3 incredibly simple principles. This is just basic physics that forms the foundation of all radiation safety. This is it. This is the golden rule: time, distance, and shielding. It means you want to spend the least amount of time exposed to it, get the most distance you can from it, and put the most shielding, heavy, dense stuff between you and it. Every single tip, every piece of advice from here on out is built on these 3 powerful rules. So how do we take those principles and turn them into an action plan for when the clock is really ticking? What do you do in those first critical minutes? You need to burn this into your brain. Get inside, stay tuned. After that initial blast wave, you might only have about 10 to 15 minutes before the most dangerous fallout starts to arrive. This is not the time to wonder what to do. Your first actions are, without a doubt, the most important. Okay, so you know you have to get inside, but is any old room good enough? Let's get specific and talk about how to create a real safe haven, probably using things you already have around you. This brings us right back to that key principle: shielding. Materials that are really dense, think concrete, bricks, even a whole lot of packed dirt, they are fantastic at blocking radiation. And that's exactly why basements are the best place to be. The rule is simple: the more stuff, the more mass you can put between you and the outside, the safer you're going to be. Now, shielding is one thing, but you also have to stop that radioactive dust from physically getting into your room. So think of your shelter like a bubble. You're trying to make it as airtight as possible to protect the very air you're breathing. And here's where things get really empowering. You can actively improve your shelter. This isn't just about passively hiding, it's about making your space safer. Every single layer of dense material you add, stacking heavy books against a wall, piling furniture, it measurably cuts down your radiation exposure. You are literally building a better fortress with what you have. All right, let's talk gear. A standard emergency kit is a fantastic start, but a radiological event calls for a few special items. Let's go over the essentials you'll want in your toolkit. You can see the theme here, right? All of this gear is about one thing: creating a physical barrier to stop that radioactive dust from getting into your body or even just touching your skin. And this part is so important. Decontamination is a game changer. I mean, if you were caught outside, just carefully removing your outer layer of clothing can get rid of up to 90% of the radioactive material. It's that effective. Okay, this stuff might seem a little high-tech, but really it's all about information. In a situation filled with unknowns, these tools make an invisible threat visible. A Geiger counter, for example, lets you actually measure your environment, which empowers you to make smart, safe decisions. So, we've covered the shelter, the plan, the gear. But there's one more piece to this puzzle. And honestly, it might just be the most important of all. Let's talk about the human factor, your mental and emotional strength. And this shouldn't come as a surprise, right? Research from past disasters is crystal clear. The psychological impact can be really tough, and it can last a long time. We have to be honest about that, because just acknowledging it is the very first step to preparing for it. So, what this tells us is that you have tools to fight back against that stress. Things like staying informed with reliable info, talking openly with the people you're with, and focusing on small positive actions. These aren't just nice ideas, they're proven strategies for building resilience. It's about focusing on what you can control. So, look, the whole point of this is to show that you can take this huge, scary topic and break it down into small, totally doable steps. This isn't about panicking for a day, it's about building resilience for a lifetime. You can turn that anxiety into an action plan. To get started with detailed checklists and tools to build your own plan, just explore the rest of this page.